So you know we gotta start with the first matchup of the college football playoffs, which I am so excited about. My Miami Hurricanes going up against them Ole Miss Rebels. And who would have thought Ole Miss and Miami in the battle of the Fiesta Bowl to go to the national championship? Never thought I would be saying that, man, but I am so excited. This is an electrifying matchup filled with plenty of star power everywhere, and I'm excited to see because we have two explosive offenses, and this is a national spotlight game, so they are going to be on point. Now, it's going to be two style clashes between Ole Miss's finesse and Miami's physicality, which we love to do in the 305. But let's break it down just a little bit more. Ole Miss, they have their quarterback, Trinidad Chambers, who has over 3,600 passing yards, 21 passing touchdowns, and he's a former Division II national championship, and he's now trying to do it on the Division I level as well, man. Just a true underdog story, a Cinderella story. I love that for Trinidad. He is a dog for sure, and I love watching his game. Then they have the running back Kewan Lacey at 1,400 rushing yards and 23 rushing touchdowns. That dude is a legit bell cow back. He can do it all. He just loves to run and loves to get open and get loose. Then they have Harrison Wallace, the third at wide receiver with 890 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. Definitely a reliable number one option. Overall takeaway from Ole Miss, they have a balanced offense. They can score fast. And they are dangerous if you allow them to get comfortable. And we cannot do that in Miami. We have to get after Trinidad Chambers, make them uncomfortable in that pocket all night, which I am confident we will do. Now, let's break down Miami's offense. They have Mr. Carson Beck, of course, who's leading the way with 3,300 passing yards, 27 passing touchdowns. And honestly, he's playing his best football at the right moment, which we need in Miami because we saw him struggle early on and not look great, but he has looked very well these last couple of weeks. Then our workhorse, Mark Fletcher Jr. at 947 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. Dude is just a physical downhill runner. He really reminds me of guys like LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi. Just love to get north and south and run over dudes. I love what he's done for us. Then we have our electric wide receiver, Malachi Tony, a.k.a. Baby Jesus, over 1,000 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. A true game breaker, dog. Whenever he gets his hands on the football, you just don't know if he's going to take it to the crib, he's going to throw it, he's going to run. You don't know what he's doing, man. Miami as a whole, we just balanced, man. We can beat anybody in multiple ways, which is why I'm confident going into this matchup. But the real edge that we have over Ole Miss, I think, is our defense. We have dogs everywhere. I'm talking hungry dogs. Starting off with Mr. Ruben Bain Jr., 8.5 sacks on the year. Then Akeem Mesidor, his running mate, with 10.5 sacks. These dudes just give you relentless pass rush every week. And not only can they rush the quarterback, they can stop the run too. That is exactly what you want out of your two top defensive ends and probably top defensive ends in the league. And I don't think Ole Miss has seen any type of pressure like this. Not from this defensive line, not from this front seven that Miami has. Our defensive coordinator, Corey Heatherman, man, he has the mindset that we are going to knock everybody's heads off. We are going to be the most physical, the most violent, and consistent tone setters on the field. And you see that with our play. If you have not watched these last two games, make sure you pay attention because we are going to be on a mission when we play. Now, some of the key guys on our defense, we have Keontae Scott, the nickel cornerback who caught that pick 6 last week off of Mr. Julian Sayin. Yeah, that dude is the real deal. You got to watch out for him. Then we have our safety, Jacoby Thomas, a 6'2", 200-pound dog, just runs downhill like no other, loves to come up and pop somebody. That is exactly what you need from your secondary, a true tone setter. Then O.J. Frederick Jr., man, you talking a lockdown corner. This guy is him. If you did not watch him and Jeremiah Smith battle it out last week, you missed a good one because he went toe-to-toe with the best wide receiver in the game. Then our young bull, Bryce Fitzgerald, man, he is hungry and ready for more as well. He had a pick in the Texas A&M game, and he's just showing his man and his zone versatility night in and night out. Then we have Damari Brown coming back from injury. He is one of our best corners and has been hurt the last couple of games. He's a 6'2 sophomore, and he's going to give us a huge boost in that secondary, which we already have essentially. And he brings the size, the physicality, and the confidence that we want in this matchup, man. I am so excited to see these guys at full strength and excited to see what we can do. Now, Ole Miss, I don't think their defense is going to be able to contain an offense like that. They are not bad, but they are just not proven against the run, man. And Mark Fletcher, he averages about 5 to 7 yards a carry. So you are going to have to really plan for Miami's rushing attack, which is hard to do, especially with that offensive line. They have some hogs up there who can block anybody, anywhere. And once Miami's run game gets going, man, that means the play action is going to open up. The passing lanes are going to be wide open for Malachi Tony, CJ Daniels. And then the game will just snowball over. And it just keep getting worse and worse. By the time you look up, Miami will be winning, man. So the biggest thing is going to be Carson Beck's decision-making for sure. He has to protect the ball. He has to take off when he sees nobody open and he sees a lane. And he just has to control the game script, man. That's all he needs to do. And defense, we have to provide pressure on all 4 quarters. We have to force Trinidad Chambers to make mistakes and get their offensive off cue. Now, Miami, we've already faced prolific quarterbacks like Marcel Reed from Texas A&M and Julian Sayin from Ohio State, who were both considered to be a higher profile quarterback than Trinidad Chambers up until this point. So we already passed those tests, so I think we would just pass this last test to get to the national championship. Now, this has been a great season for Ole Miss. You got to respect what they've done, especially without Lane Kiffin. They lost their coach in the middle of the season and still are winning. A hell of a thing to accomplish. They overachieved all year, but Miami, we are just too hungry this year. I think Mario Cristobal has instilled the culture back to the 305 because college football is just better when Miami is on top. That is just proven facts. The Miami swag from the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s, we are definitely bringing that energy back. So for this game, you already know you got to give me those Hurricanes because we are going to show you why we have the better offense, the better defense. We have the better depth pieces. We are just the more physical team. Now, Ole Miss will fight, but Miami, we're going to pull away. Now, it's going to be a hard-hitting, hard battle, but give me those Hurricanes to go to the national championship and be the first team to play in the championship in their home field. Now, let's move on because this next playoff matchup, man, somebody's legacy is on the line, and we will see who comes out on top in the biggest game of the year. We have the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl with the Oregon Ducks facing those undefeated Indiana Hoosiers. And I am so excited for this matchup because we get to see 2 NFL caliber quarterbacks go at it head-to-head once more. Now, this is a rematch game, of course, which would mean Indiana has already won this one in the regular season, 30-20. So Oregon is coming in with the mindset that, hey, we have unfinished business to handle, and it's hard to beat a good team twice in 1 year, in my opinion. So just keep that in mind while going over this matchup. But let's talk about the quarterbacks because we have 2 special ones right here to watch. First, we're going to talk about Dante Moore for the Oregon Ducks. He's leading the way with over 3,200 passing yards, 28 passing touchdowns. Just a quarterback who knows how to sling it, man. He's viewed as one of the top quarterbacks in this draft class, and rightfully so because I love all his tools. I think he can prove that he's a big moment quarterback. Then you have Indiana's quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, the reigning Heisman winner, with over 31 passing yards and 36 passing touchdowns. Dude is just calm, efficient, and he's surgical when you give him time. I'm excited to see these guys sling it at a high level. Now, this matchup is whoever can handle the pressure better because both quarterbacks are proven with their arms, but we have to see when those bright lights come on, who can pull it out. Now they do have a great supporting cast, both teams. Oregon has their running back Noah Whittington with over 800 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Indiana, they have Roman Hemby in their backfield with over 1,000 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. So two backs that know how to hit the gaps hard and make the defenders miss. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now both teams, they can run it, and neither offense is one-dimensional, which is a good thing. They both know how to pass and run efficiently. So I'm excited to see who exposes what matchup. Their receiving weapons, they don't have the flashiest receivers, but they have serviceable ones for sure. Indiana has Omar Cooper. He's leading the way with over 850 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns on the year. Just solid hands and great route running from him. And he's a red zone target, which you always want for your quarterback. Then Oregon number one receiver Malik Benson, he has 696 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. Just an elusive receiver who knows how to get open and create separation at will. He's not the flashiest, but he is reliable, what you want as a wide receiver. And the big plays will matter in the tight moments. So we have to see who will come out on top when it matters the most. Now, this game, it really comes down to ball security, starting off fast, limiting the turnovers, and winning the hidden yardage battle. You have to win the yards that you don't really see between the trenches, extended plays, stuff like that. Now, both defenses, they are playing their best football right now. Oregon just shut out Texas Tech 23-0, which I don't think anybody expected that to happen because everybody was raving about Texas Tech's defense. But Oregon showed them that, hey, we are here and this is the playoffs and we are coming and we are not playing around. So I like what Oregon showed in that matchup. And then also Indiana just had a great performance defensively as well, shutting out Alabama essentially 38-3, an SEC team which nobody thought was possible in this playoffs. So you have to tip your cap off to Indiana as well. So these two teams, they are showing that they are hungry and that they are trying to earn themselves a ticket to a national championship. No, everybody will say Indiana is the best team head over heels. And you might be right. I do think Indiana is the better team. But in this moment, I cannot go with my head. I have to go with my heart. I think the Oregon Ducks have been battle tested and they know what it feels like to lose to Indiana already. And I'm sure that they don't want to lose to them again in the biggest spot of their season. And I think with how that defense just shut out Texas Tech, they are just going to keep that same energy. They're going to bring that to Indiana and not shut them out, but they are definitely going to hold them to lesser points than they are used to scoring. So I have to go with the Oregon Ducks simply because they have already played twice and lost. And I do not expect a team to lose to a team twice in 1 year, especially in the biggest game of the year. So give me those Ducks in this matchup, guys. I know you guys are going to be on me in the comments, but I don't care. The Oregon Ducks are going to the Natty. I want to see a Miami Hurricanes and an Oregon Ducks national championship. NFL wildcard weekend is finally here, and man, do we got some matchups we have to talk about. Of course, the first one up, we have the Los Angeles Rams going to Carolina to see the Panthers one more time this season. But this one is for their playoff lives. And I think this time it's going to be a whole lot different. If everybody remembers, the Panthers beat the Rams in the regular season, which was a shocker for most. But this will be a whole different ball game because we all know the playoffs bring out the best in these competitors, especially guys like Matt Stafford, who have a Super Bowl under his belt, so he already knows what it takes. Then he has his wide receiver one, Puka Nacua. That guy is just a dog, man. He has over 1,700 yards on the year. Hopefully, Devontae Adams will be coming back for this matchup. He's been hurt with the hamstring injury, but we'll see if he suits up. Then the Rams, they have their running game, two-headed monster with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. So them guys would definitely be ready and locked and loaded to go up against the Carolina stout defense. Carolina's defense has been a problem this season, definitely been keeping them in ball games this year, but their biggest issue is their offense. What version of Bryce Young we are going to get in the playoffs? That is the biggest question mark for the Panthers offense. Can Bryce Young get it done under pressure? Now, he has some decent receivers. He has his number one receiver, T-Mac. He's been very serviceable for him with over 1,000 yards this year. So if he can get him going early, they may be able to compete in this matchup. And also they have Rico Dow, who's revitalized his career in Carolina. So hopefully he can get going on the ground as well. But I think the Rams will just be too motivated in this matchup for the Panthers, unfortunately. And everything is on the line in this matchup, and they will come out full steam ahead, especially after already losing to the Panthers one time this season. So, of course, I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams in this matchup. This next matchup is the battle of two familiar foes. We have the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Now, they will be playing each other for the third time this season. So we will definitely see who wants it more in this matchup because both teams should be very familiar with each other. Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson have seen everything in the playbook, I'm sure, from both sides of the ball. So it's going to be very hard to scheme against their game plans. And we just need to see, and we don't know what we're going to get out of either quarterback. Jordan Love, yes, he has a playoff win under his belt, but he has been inconsistent at times, especially when the Packers need him most. So we will see what version of him we will get. Also, Caleb Williams for the Bears, he has shown flashes of his greatness, but he still misses the easy throws at times. Not too sure where to go with the ball. Can get rattled when the pressure is there. So it will be interesting to see what version of Caleb we will see in the playoffs, especially this being his first playoff appearance. Now, the Bears, they have a great defense this year. They have turned the ball over the most in the league, led by Kevin Byard, their safety. So if they get to flying around, it will be tough for Green Bay, especially since Green Bay does not really have a wide receiver one, which I preached all season long. They'll be short-handed going into this matchup. Without Tucker Kraft, who was their number one receiver, I'm sure they will miss him badly in this matchup. So it'll be interesting to see what version of Green Bay we get. Also on their defensive side, they are missing their star defensive end, Michael Parsons, who was a huge addition for them in the regular season. So this will be a battle of just who wants it more. And to be honest, I think I have to go with the Chicago Bears in this one just because they are at home for one. For two, I feel like Ben Johnson, he's the more diverse coach. He knows how to call the right plays in the right moments, and he keeps defenses off balance. So, as long as they get that running game going with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai and that offensive line, it's going to be tough to stop that. I don't think Green Bay's defense is built to stop that running game. Now, the Green Bay's defense, they do have a solid secondary, so it probably will be hard for Caleb Williams to find his wide receivers. But I think the Bears will pull this out at home because they are overdue for a playoff win. It's been years since they have won it. And Ben Johnson is the right guy for the job in Chicago. So give me the Chicago Bears to beat those Green Bay Packers this weekend. Now, this next battle is two teams who absolutely can't stand each other on the field and off the field for the fan bases. Because these 49er fans, they swear they are somebody to be scared of, but they have not proved us anything yet in this century. The Philadelphia Eagles are battling the San Francisco 49ers this weekend, and boy, I cannot wait for this matchup. We have a whole lot to prove because last time we saw the 49ers in the playoffs, their quarterback, Brock Purdy, got hurt, and they just swear up and down they would have beat us if Brock Purdy would have stayed in that game, which I still to this day do not believe because he was not that guy that scared us, especially with that defensive line we have, and we still have a great defense this year. So he definitely is not scaring me this year either, especially when I have a lockdown corner in Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and we got guys like Zach Bond, N'Kobe Dean, Jahad Campbell, who love to fly around and chase after the ball. It's going to be a great matchup for sure, but I know we have the dogs to get this job done. Carter, he's looking to come in good and looking fresh after his shoulder surgery. Jordan Davis is feeling better than ever, in the best shape of his life, as he says. Nolan Smith is getting healthier, and he has been getting better each week. Brandon Graham has just brought a whole different level of energy to our defensive line, which we needed because he's playing inside and out at a great level. Jalen Phillips, our acquisition from the Miami Dolphins, is coming in with a chip on his shoulder because he wants to prove that he is a piece that can be a part of the future of this team. So I'm just excited for this matchup, man. We got a lot to prove right here because everybody's still worried about our offense. Everybody's has question marks and people questioning why we sat our starters last week. But you guys must forget, Jalen Hurts is the ultimate gamer. He knows when it is time to play his best football, he does it like no other. And I am 100% confident in my quarterback that he will get it together. I know Saquon Barkley is also hungry to get his game going because he hasn't had the season that he really was expecting. But he will find that dog in him and unleash K-Say in the playoffs. A.J. Brown and Smitty, we know who they are, and they will get the rock and get separation in this matchup, I'm sure. So we will be hitting on all cylinders. As long as Kevin Patullo calls consistent plays and keeps the defense off balance with the play calling, we will be fine in this matchup. San Francisco, they only have Christian McCaffrey that really scares me offensively. We have to contain C-Mac, of course, because he's one of the best backs in the league. But they don't have any wide receivers that scare me. Juwan Jennings does not scare me. Ricky Pearsall does not scare me. Kendrick Bourne does not scare me. I am not worried about any of those guys. And George Kittle, yeah, he's nice. We know he's a top 5 tight end. But what tight end is going to beat a team by themselves? Not too many, especially not Georgie. So you already know what time it is, guys. I shouldn't even have to explain myself. It is playoff time in Philly. And when the playoffs come to the link, you know the fans are going to be on 10,000 wow. So expect the Eagles to be locked in and loaded this weekend against those San Fran 49ers. Now let's move to the AFC side of things. We have the Buffalo Bills going to Jacksonville to face Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, man. And this is going to be an interesting one, man, because everybody's expecting Josh Allen to take that Super Bowl leap this year, especially that Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson is not in the playoffs. But he still has some tall tasks to attend to because the Jaguars are no slouch by far. Liam Cohen has turned this team all the way around from only winning 4 games to winning 13 this year. Yeah, that is very impressive. You got to give him his flowers because he definitely did that. And he has Trevor Lawrence playing out of his mind right now. We all know the prospect that Trevor Lawrence was coming out of Clemson. Everybody thought he was going to be the next Tom Brady, the next best thing. He had a slow start to his career, but it looks like he's starting to figure things out and the game is slowing down for him. So I'm excited to see that for Trevor. And he has the offensive weapons to definitely make some noise. Travis Etienne has revitalized his career as well. He went crazy. Then Trevor Lawrence honestly has the best wide receiver trio in the AFC. He has Jacoby Myers, their in-season acquisition that they got. He has been a great receiver for him. Then he has Brian Thomas Jr., their first-round pick from last year. He hasn't had a great season, but he is still a great wide receiver to have on your team. And then a shocker who nobody saw coming was their wide receiver 3, Parker Washington. He has been a huge piece for them this year. He is doing things in the special teams, on offense. So he's just been a great addition, and he leads the team in receiving with 847 yards, man. So you have to look out for the Jacksonville Jaguars offensively and also defensively. They have a great defense led by Travion Walker and Greg Newsome II. They can do it on the defensive line, in the secondary, in the box. So you have to be on the lookout for Jacksonville this weekend. And Buffalo, yeah, they are good, but they are coming into this game kind of banged up. Josh Allen's foot is still not 100%. It probably won't be 100% the rest of the playoffs. So that's going to be an issue. James Cook has been great this year, the NFL leading rusher. But I think if Jacksonville can contain him, it will be a problem because the Buffalo Bills, they have no wide receiver 1. Shakir, number 1 receiver. Keon Coleman cannot even get on the field because of his off-field antics. So we have to see who steps up for Buffalo if Josh Allen can't get it done by himself because it's going to take a whole team to beat a team like Jacksonville. You can't just beat them with one man. So this matchup will be interesting, but I have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars in this one because they are at home. They are fired up. The fans are fired up. They haven't had this feeling in Jacksonville in a long time. So it's going to be an interesting one, but give me the Jacksonville Jaguars and Sunshine, a.k.a. Trevor Lawrence, to bring back that swag to Florida. Now, this next matchup is a battle of 2 quarterbacks who are trying to earn their first playoff win. We have the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the New England Patriots. This is another matchup that is really going to be hard to call because the Los Angeles Chargers, they look good at times, but they still look shaky at times as well. Justin Herbert, he's an all-world talent at quarterback, but his decision-making time in tight moments gets questionable. And we don't know what version of Justin we will get when things get tight. But he does have a good offense to help him out. And he has a better offensive line this year. So hopefully that pressure doesn't get to him too much and we see what he really does in the clutch. Now, he has a good running game. Omarion Hampton has been a good rookie running back this year. Then also he has 3 wide receivers who should be able to get the ball. Keenan Allen, a veteran wide receiver that we know can create separation like no other. Ladd McConkey, yeah, he's had a down year, but he's still good when called upon. And Quentin Johnston shockingly took a step up this year, showing that he can catch contested balls and create separation at will. So it's definitely going to be interesting from an offensive standpoint. And the Chargers defense, they're also pretty good, but questionable at times. Derwin James, of course, the all-pro safety. He's leading the way. And then they have Khalil Mack, who's also an all-pro defensive end. And I know them boys are hungry for a shot at a championship ring. So we will see what version of the Chargers we get. I think Jim Harbaugh will have these guys ready to play. So we will see. Now, the New England Patriots, everybody has been on their tail coast this year because they won 14 games. They have been beating teams left and right. Now, Drake May, he has shown that he can be a great quarterback in this league and really take the franchise to heights that they haven't been since Tom Brady. But I think Drake still needs to learn some things because he really had a cakewalk schedule and really didn't get battle tested when he needed to. And he has some wide receivers. Yeah, Stephon Diggs, he is a good receiver. Hunter Henry is a solid tight end for sure. Also in the backfield, Travion Henderson is a home run hitter. If he gets one crease, he's out of there. Along with Stevenson, who's a power back. But I still just don't think they are ready to take that leap quite yet. Now, their defense is good, but they're kind of banged up. They lost Milton Williams, their big acquisition for the year. That's kind of going to hurt them, especially going up against a team like the Chargers with a stout offensive line. So we will see how that impacts them. With all that being said, I have to go with the Chargers in this one, man. I just think the matchup is a little bit more favorable for them. I think Jim Harbaugh would just have these guys ready with the right game plan. Of course, Mike Vrabel for the Patriots, he's a great coach as well. He knows how to get his guys going for these type of matchups. But I just think the Chargers are more well-rounded. So give me LA winning this one in New England. Now, this last matchup will be a hard-hitting affair. The Houston Texans going up to Pittsburgh to face those Steelers. And, man, I can't wait to see this one. I know hats will be flying, shoulder pads will be popping, and it's going to be some great football played on Sunday night. Now, Houston Texans, they started off the season rough, but, man, did they go on their run, led by DeMeco Ryans, their coach, and C.J. Stroud, the quarterback. Those guys just got it together and put on a show for the most part of the season. That defense, man, is just flying around. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, Derek Stingley Jr., Henry Tua. Like, these guys, they have plenty of talent everywhere. And DeMeco Ryans, he is a defensive-minded coach, and it shows every weekend because those guys just come out to play. And it's hard to put up points on that type of team. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a good defense, but it hasn't been the best at times. They have guys like TJ Watt, Jalen Ramsey, Cameron Hayward, some big-time names, but those guys are kind of older now. They're out of their prime. It's hard to really tell what type of production we're going to get from them guys sometimes just because they're up in age. And not to mention the defense is up in age. The offense is up in age as well, of course, with their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And, yes, Aaron Rodgers can still sling it. That's without a question. But his lack of mobility and his lack of getting out of the pocket is really going to hurt him in a matchup like this because I'm sure the Texans will be sending everything his way whenever they can just to get him off his pivot. Whoever's offense comes out to play more will win this battle. Now, the Steelers, they do get DK Metcalf coming back from his 2-game suspension, so that will be a good thing for them. The Texans, they have a big-time wide receiver one with Nico Collins, so it's going to be a battle to see who wants it more, of course. But I got to go with the Texans in this one because I just think Houston, they're on a different mission this year. And I just don't like how the Steelers' season has gone. Yeah, they did start off good, but they just haven't looked good all the time. And that win against the Ravens they got last week, we all know was very questionable because of some things went in their favor. We will see if my prediction is right, but I have to go with the Houston Texans to take this victory home. All right, guys, so let's move on to some NBA talk because, man, we had a big-time trade go down this week. Trae Young was traded from the Atlanta Hawks to the Washington Wizards for C.J. McCollum and Cody Kispert. This was an unexpected trade by most, especially since Trae Young requested to go to Washington, which caught me off surprise, I can't lie. But it really makes sense if you break it down from a business standpoint because Trae Young is on an expiring contract and he's looking to get paid. He doesn't want to get lowball. He wants to get the top max deal that he can possibly get. And he knew he wasn't going to get that in Atlanta, unfortunately, because they have some guys that are looking like the futures, such as Jalen Johnson, who has just become a star this season. So Trae Young is looking to get paid, and Washington is the perfect place to do that. And they have the young pieces that he can work with to at least try to get them more competitive, probably to a play-in spot. So we will see how that goes. And he's just betting on himself. And I'm not mad at Trae one bit because you have to bet on yourself, especially when you're a smaller guard, because a whole lot of people doubt you. And you have to really put the word on those like, hey, I am him. And if you don't want me, you don't want to win. And Trae Young is a 25 and 10 type of guy. He can get you buckets and he can play make for your offense. So you need that for sure. As long as you put some defensive pieces around him, because we all know he's not the greatest defender, he should be fine, especially in Washington where they have young guys who like to run up and down the floor. So I'm excited to see this for Trae. It's been a long time coming, especially since that Eastern Conference Finals run they went on a couple of years ago. So new beginnings for Trae Young in Washington. I hate that I moved from DC now that Trae Young is there because I would have definitely went to go see him play. But look out for Washington, man, and Trae Young because he's on a mission to prove his worth this year. Now, another big name on the trade block is Ja Morant. And we all saw this coming because Ja in Memphis has just not worked out in the last couple of years, man. Ja has stayed in and out of trouble since being in Memphis, posting guns online, just hanging with the wrong crowds, it looks like. So it's time for a change of scenery. And I think that would be good for Ja because he really needs to grow up as a professional if he wants to hang around in the NBA long term because Ja has the talent that he can play 15 years, but he doesn't have the mindset right now. He needs to recollect himself and really get back to what got him to this point, which is playing ball. And I have 5 places where I think Ja Morant could go and possibly thrive. First place I have is the Sacramento Kings, a team who is desperately needing a point guard, needing a change of pace, and needing somebody who can really get that energy flowing again. So I think the Kings will be a good place for him. I think the Pelicans will also be a good spot for Ja because he played with his boy Zion Williamson in AAU, if you didn't know, back in South Carolina. So them two linking up, I think they will have a changed mindset of, hey, we know what type of talent we are and we need to get back to us. So that would be an interesting move for sure. Next place I think he should go is Miami. Miami will be a great place for Ja. One, because they have stability. They have a front office that does not tolerate BS, which Ja needs. And he will be on a good team and be competitive, which we want to see Ja playing. And I'm sure Ja wants to be on a competitive roster as well. So if Miami Heat could make that move, I would love that, man, because we desperately need an athletic point guard who can change the game for us. Because Tyler Hero, he's been in and out of the lineup with injuries, and we don't know if we're going to keep him around after this season. So that would be an interesting thing. Another place I think Ja could go is the Milwaukee Bucks. And him linking up with Giannis Antetokounmpo, that might be a great thing for his career. Because for one, he can feed Giannis the rock how he wants, and he can score at a high clip. So those two linked up, that would be a good addition, I feel like, because you don't want to have to face Ja defensively, then you have to face Giannis right after him. That would be an extremely hard matchup for most teams. So that would be an interesting one to see. And lastly, I have a sleeper for you guys. I think if Ja went to Toronto, if Ja went to the Toronto Raptors, that would be a huge move for the Raptors, man, because they have some great pieces up there who can really benefit from Ja's play style. Scotty Barnes, he's a guy who can do it all on the floor essentially. Then they have guys like Brandon Ingram who can shoot it at a high clip and create his own shot at will. So if they got a point guard like Ja Morant who can really thrive in both scoring and playmaking, that team will get elevated to another level. If any of those teams get Ja Morant, I think that would be franchise changing for them. So look out for Ja Morant these next couple of weeks and see if he is on the move. All right, guys. So sticking with the NBA, man, I just want to talk about a few guys who have been catching my eye these last few weeks in the basketball world, man. And these are not big name guys. So I just want to show you guys who you should be paying attention to that are not big names. First name up, I have Mr. Anthony Black for the Orlando Magic. He has been hooping this year when given the opportunity. Jalen Suggs for the Magic has been hurt for quite a while. So Anthony has gotten his shot, and man, has he taken advantage of it. And in some of his most recent games, he has been going off, man. In one game, he had 27 points, 10 assists, and 4 blocks to go with that. And mind you, he's a 6'7" shooting guard. So that is very impressive for him to have 4 blocks and 10 assists with 27 points to go with that. Then in another game, he had 27 points. Another game, he had 30 points, shooting 63% from the three. So he is definitely a shooter, and he knows how to play his role. And I like that for Anthony, especially since he is still young and learning his role in the NBA. And he looks like he could be promising for the Magic, especially if they let him develop and really blossom into what he could be. He has been showing glimpses of what he can really do. So be on the lookout for Anthony Black these next couple of weeks. Now, his numbers might go down because Jalen Suggs is getting healthy again. But maybe next year, Anthony Black becomes a real problem if given the opportunity. Next up, I have Matas Buzelis, a 6'8" small forward from the Chicago Bulls. He was their first round pick in last year's draft, and he's showing why he was drafted in the first round this year because he has definitely taken steps up. He's averaging around 15 points this season with 5 rebounds and shooting 48% from the field. So just some good numbers from him all around. Some of his most recent games, he had 20 points and 4 blocks. 26 points, shooting 75% from the three. So he is definitely showing that he has game. And I think he definitely will be a problem. And if you have not seen a couple of his highlights, he definitely has some bunnies too. And for a white boy, that is definitely impressive. So I gotta say, be on the lookout for Matas because he is on the rise. Now, I think his ceiling is probably averaging around 23 points in a good season for him. So if he can get to that level, maybe the Chicago Bulls can become something better than what they have been in recent years. So look out for Matas and the Chicago Bulls. Next up in the West, we have Mr. Peyton Watson from the Denver Nuggets, a 6'8" guard, and he does it all. I'm talking about offense and defense. This dude is a menace. And now that Jokic will be out for about a month, this dude is going to have the opportunity to really showcase his skills, and he's been doing that at a high level. He's only averaging around 12 points and 4 rebounds, but like I said, he has been showcasing his skills. His most recent games, he just dropped 30 points and 6 rebounds on the Boston Celtics, shooting 85% from the three-point line and 66% from the field. So that is an all-around impressive performance by him. Then he had a game with 24 points on shooting 66% from the three and 53% from the field. And his last couple of games, he's had 24, 21, and 23. So this dude is a bucket when given the opportunity, and he plays defense at a high clip. I've seen him block multiple type shots. I've seen him get steals, hustle points, all types of stuff. So Peyton is a guy that you definitely want on your team because he's a guy that does everything you need to get a win. So look out for Peyton Watson as the Nuggets continue to put up their fight without their MVP, Nikola Jokic. The last guy I want to talk about who real hoop fans know about is Mr. Shaedon Sharpe from the Portland Trail Blazers. This dude is 6'5" and 210 pounds, but man, he flies through the air like no other. Around 21.5 points on 44% shooting from the field. This dude is just a bucket. He gets them night in and night out for Portland, which they need buckets in any way possible, and Shaedon does that for them, man. Some of his best games, he had 29 points on 62% shooting from the three-point line and 57% from the field. 23 points, shooting 50% from the field. So he definitely shows his flashes that he can score with the best of them. And not to mention his scoring ability. Man, have you seen the man jump? This dude jumps out the gym, and I definitely expect him to be in the dunk contest this year. It would be a damn shame if he's not, because he shows that he can really fly through the air. He reminds me of a Gerald Green at times, not because he's jumping out the gym like Gerald, but how he dunks and how hard his dunks are at times. So look out for Shaedon Sharpe, and hopefully he gets in that dunk contest so we can see a real show this year for the NBA All-Star Weekend. All right, fam, so that's a wrap for episode 16 of Ball Talk with Paul. I appreciate you guys rocking with me per usual. You guys are some of the best. And if you don't mind, if you haven't already, please like, share, and comment on this video, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. And let me know in the comments, who do you think should be in the dunk contest this year? You think Shaedon Sharpe would be a good candidate? Who do you have as an underdog winning in the first round of the playoffs? And who brings home that natty in the college football world this year? Let me know, guys, please. But until next time, I'm your host, Paul, and this is Ball Talk with Paul, and we're out.